Hey y'all, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you taking time out here on this schedule. Stop in and see what it is I'm up to. It is, that's a loud bike. It is Thursday, the 2nd of June, 2022. 12:15 or so in the afternoon. My brother had asked me to get ice because he's going to be working around the yard. We went up to the ice machine, it was offline. Wouldn't take a card. Said turn around, come back here and get ice at the gate station. So I thought I was going to get out of here early because I need to get over to pick up the boys. We're supposed to be going bowling. And yeah. Anyway, let's see. It is hot out there. 86 degrees Fahrenheit, 57% humidity, 30 degrees Celsius. Yuck. It's hot. It's not steamy hot, which is a good thing, but it's hot. So, did I turn this air conditioning down? I did. There we go, that's better. This AC isn't quite as forceful as the one in the van. But c'est la vie. Whole cup full of iced coffee. I made up my coffee last night using 2 of my filter bags, or 2 of my coffee bags, and let it brew overnight. A little bit of honey. So we're trying to get things reorganized at the house. My brother needs to back his trailer in, so we got like the picket fence down. One of the neighbors took that. And he's just kind of like moving stuff around in the yard, and he likes to be active. He likes the heat. He's actually enjoying today, other than wanting some ice in order to keep himself hydrated. So I'll spend the $2.50 or whatever on a bag of ice, and I'll get home tonight and have a pretty much cleaned up yard. So make sure this thing's recording. Anyway, Prepper Dale asked me yesterday on one of my posts. I haven't checked anything for this from today. How did I end up with 2 pairs of sunglasses? Anyway, Prepper Dale asked me last night about hurricanes. He's never been through a hurricane. And he asked, what's the worst that I've been through? I remember back in 62 or 64, I don't remember exactly. I was 6 or 7 years old at that point in time when Hurricane Dora came through. And we were living up in New Jersey at that point in time. I remember the streets being all flooded and getting put in a boat and taken up to the firehouse and hunkering down in the firehouse. The water rising. I remember the adults being worried about how high the water was coming up. And then for the same storm, sometime later, I don't know, a couple days or whatever, we went down to the beach in the beach buggy, and there was I think it was a destroyer. It was a big Navy boat, Navy ship, grounded on the shore down at Island Beach State Park. They'd been trying to rescue a sailboat, I believe. I may have my facts confused. It was 60 years ago, close to. I remember playing on the hull of the boat that was washed up, and watching them try to pull that big Navy ship off the shore. So that's my first remembrance. And like I said, winds and rain and what have you. When we came down here, Jacksonville's been pretty lucky. They haven't had a direct hit in a long time. I don't remember how long. A long time. And we get the outer bands and whatnot whipping around through us one way or another, but we don't get a whole lot of like the actual storm. So we have sat through several. Now, the house I was living in was a brick house, cinder block house, and it had withstood, several major storms. So we basically just hunkered down, and we had enough supplies and whatever, and board up the windows and let Mother Nature do her thing. Heavy winds, heavy rains, and that's pretty much what a hurricane is. So if you've been through a really, really bad thunderstorm, with heavy winds and heavy rain, and just think about that, and it lasts for several hours. A lot of times it doesn't make sense to evacuate unless you evacuate several days early. I remember on a couple of occasions, friends decided that they were going to evacuate, and then they ended up sitting out the storm on the side of a highway somewhere, because traffic is horrendous. My cousin and his son, my cousin's got property down in the Keys, and they were down there doing something down there, and one of the storms came through. This was only, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe, but they decided to evacuate, and it took them the better part of 2 days to get from the Keys to just off of Jacksonville on I-95, because traffic was so bad. And then all the way up the East Coast. They lived in New Jersey, and what normally they could do in 12 to 18 hours took them almost 5 days, because everybody's evacuating. So that's a major factor to take in. Like I said, if you're going to evacuate, or get gone several days before landfall. So the only time that I know of recently Jacksonville got hit hard was Irma in 2017, and we didn't get the brunt of the storm, but the storm surge afterwards flooded. The storm surge came up the river, and then all the rain came down into the river and created a massive flood. Highest water in, I think, 100 years or something. Whole areas of town underwater that had never flooded in recent memory. But for that one, we had actually planned on going up to Pittsburgh to see a friend's haunted house, and we were scheduled to leave on Friday, I think, but decided to leave on Thursday. And even then, like we got up into, I think it was North Carolina, and they had they changed their roads around, and you're only allowed to head away from the beach. So we had a couple of minor detours doing that. Once we got up there, you know, we were able to get a room earlier than we had reserved. We got it a day earlier. But then we couldn't extend our reservation because so many people were you know, had evacuated and were loading things up because everything was evacuated. Florida, Georgia, University of South Carolina, they all got hit really hard. So yeah, there was, you know, like we couldn't extend the reservation, so we ended up going ahead and leaving, and we meandered our way back home. We went through, well, from Pittsburgh, we went out into Tennessee, ended up at wherever it is that Dolly Parton's place is. Which is just, it's a big town full of tourists. But we were running into people there that were from Florida and Georgia who were escaping the storm. So we kept in touch. Like, my oldest son was here, and you know, he was like, I went to check on the dogs and almost got blown off the road, and like, well, stay home. The dogs will be okay for a day or so. So we heard about it, but I didn't have any real first-hand knowledge about it. Coming home from Pittsburgh, we did see the devastation all along, like the whole route we were coming home. Like I said, we kind of meandered out through Tennessee and came down through like northeast South Carolina, or in that area, kind of. They kind of like cut across the states, and the devastation was unbelievable. You know, giant trees torn up, and detours because the roads were closed. So I have never, other than Dora, I have never really experienced the full onslaught of a hurricane. I guess I've been lucky, knock on wood. So yeah. People joke around, you know, we have hurricane parties. We don't really, you know, concern ourselves too much about hurricanes. And then you get the devastating effects of, I forget which one it was, Michael maybe came ashore right out there on the Panhandle and like totally wiped the town out. That type of stuff, like, you hear about it, but for the most part it's like, yeah, you know, I've been through a category 3. Not a problem. Well, there's category 3s and then there's category 3s. You know, it just depends on where you are and how the storm hits you. You take it from the right or take it from the left. So now, being in the mobile home, I'll beat feet. So I'll beat feet, you know, quickly. I'm not going to hang around to see how bad it's going to get. If there's a major chance of it coming in, just a good chance of it coming in and, you know, hitting us hard, I'm going to get out of there. I'll go to one of the kids' houses, although right now I think they all need to evacuate as well. They used to all be in brick homes, now they're not. So I think that, yeah, I think I would try to get everybody to evacuate. But again, you know, you don't know where to go. Like I said, with Irma, you know, it came through and wrecked Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, on up into, I'm sure there was other places. Hurricane Sandy, I remember Sandy came through, hit us it was a heavy storm, really bad storm. And then it went up and came ashore in New Jersey and like totally destroyed a place up there, place where I basically grew up. Excuse me. I mean, it changed the way the water flowed. It opened a new inlet. It connected the bay and the ocean in a spot that hadn't been done in known history. So, like I said, you know, hurricanes, they're kind of hit and miss. We kind of play them off, but they're really no joke. But imagine the worst thunderstorm you've ever sat through. Man, it's a bright truck. Imagine the worst thunderstorm you've ever sat through, and just that it goes on for several hours, up to a day. People say, you know, oh, well, you know, we've been through a tornado. Yeah, I guess, I mean, if the eye of the tornado is at you, but that lasts 5 minutes, maybe, you know, not 5 to 10 hours. And it's not a complete comparison because, you know, wind speeds are different, rain and whatnot, so. There you go, Dale. I think that's pretty much explains what I have done. Up where you're at in the mountains, I think most of the big storms would fall apart before they get to you, but that doesn't preclude, you know, tornadoes and whatnot. So, oh man, I was doing so good too. Now I hit construction. So if you saw my castaway tuna and black bean from yesterday, that was really tasty. After it sat and marinated for a couple of hours, I went back for more. And of course, I gave my brother a bowl full. He said it was really good, but it made him belch a lot. He said, I've been tasting that for the past couple hours. So I told him he ate too fast. I didn't really have that problem, so I don't know. The only thing I noticed was I had to keep stirring it, and even then I ended up with a lot of extra beans down on the bottom. So I probably could have added more of everything except the beans, because there towards the end there was more beans than anything in every forkful. But at least the beans were tasty. The dressing was very tasty. So I got to thinking, you know, as much as I've been eating black beans, maybe I should try doing a black bean burger. And that got me thinking also, because like I went through and watched a couple of videos on people doing black bean burgers, and they all take them and put them in a processor and blend them down until they look like refried beans. And I thought, all right, that's a lot of work. I buy cans of refried black beans. They're already seasoned. Huh. Shortcut, anybody? So, you know, just throw in a little bit of other black beans, and you know, for the texture, some peppers and onions, and like I watched a couple of them. They did a lot of seasonings that are basically taco seasoning. So, packet of taco seasoning, and then kind of like mix it all together. A couple of them used eggs as a binder. Some of them just said, you know, you don't need anything, and put it all together. They looked a little crumbly though. So I might try that. I mean, I'm always game for new foods, new to me foods. And I like black beans, so yeah, it's a possibility. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment if you think I should do a black bean burger. Anyway, it looks like we are getting to be at the end of the run, and we're still recording, right? Yeah. Alrighty. So let me know what you think, folks. Give me a thumbs down, a thumbs up. Leave me a comment wherever it is y'all leave comments on your internet access device of choice. If you'd like to share me around any social media, that'd be fantaculous. If your loved ones are nearby, give them a kiss and a hug. If they're not, give them a call. Hit them up on Facebook. Let them know you think about them. Let them know you love them. We ain't promised tomorrow, people. We ain't promised our next breath. If you would, keep my friend AM in your thoughts. Especially today, she goes to the doctor to find out what they're going to be able to do. So, yeah. Until I see y'all again, I hope you have a fantaculous day. So, lot to y'all.